For those two who are new and don't know me, I'm Thomas Garrison, been developing websites and providing SEO for about 25 years. That said, we are in the buyer's journey trying to figure out how to implement the pages. There comes more people. I knew if I'd start, they'd just all show up. So I'll talk slowly. Maybe they'll come in while I'm talking slowly. Many of the people who've been around for a while and been coming to the meetings about the buyer's journey pages have wondered, how do you get the pages into the site? And I've explained it, but a lot of people feel like, yeah, it doesn't make much sense. So can you show me? And I didn't have a lot of time, but I had enough time to just kind of put in the basics so you can see how the pages go. I don't like what got spit out from the AI for the pages that I've got, but I just wanted to hurry up and get them done so that you guys could see. So I'm going to share my screen. And then we'll go over here. So this would be a normal page, obviously, of my site. And right now, I have it in the menu, but you're not going to. I have the capability to turn off any menu in Joomla, any menu item. I can just disable it in a second by clicking a button. So I'm going to show you these pages, but remember, you cannot get to any of your buyer's journey pages through your website. So the idea behind the buyer's journey pages is that they come up in the search engine results if you created it properly and applied the basic SEO. So the people are going to come to it from the search engines. Once they get to the awareness page or whichever page they come to, this happens to be the awareness page, the only thing they can do is move forward, or as you saw at the bottom, if they are so inclined, they can go by. But I'm not going to push that at people. You just have that call to action. So if they wanted to buy, they could go directly over here and figure out, okay, which package do I want? Or if they're not ready, they can go on to the purchase stage of the buyer's journey. And then the last link will take them there, just like the button will. Okay, so I will back up now. We went through the basics. Questions. Where are you guys with putting your pages into your site? Where are the problems? Anybody? Am I already talking over your heads? How about Tom? Have you dealt with the buyer's journey pages at all?
Actually, I'm just joining. I'm
Okay.
very interested in the subject. I'm trying to quickly follow your web page here with you.
And I've been going along since November, discussing about the buyer's journey pages. So I'll give you a Reader's Digest overview. Google is now mandating you spend your time on buyer's journey pages instead of trying to get up in the search engines with SEO. If you don't have a high authority in your website, which means 100% of us who are in the meetings all the time. Big companies have the authority. They don't have to comply with everything because Google says you spend a lot of money and, you know, that deal. They are a different group from the norm, if you will. So instead of spending the time on SEO and the expense, if you're hiring somebody, the switch now is to use the buyer's journey pages to do the very same thing. And the reason for the buyer's journey pages is so you're proving to Google that you are an expert in whatever field that you have, with whatever you're serving, wherever your business is. Google says, prove it. Prove that you know what you're doing. The buyer's journey pages, if they're done correctly, are talking about what you do and how you do it. So if you go to the first step of the buyer's journey, that's the awareness stage. You're telling them, you're providing information about their particular question. So I'll back up before that. They find your buyer's journey pages because they searched something in the search engine, and that was your buyer's journey page comes up for that search. Now that search could be you're in the awareness stage, so you ask something like, what is an SEO specialist? Or, Tom, what's your particular business?
I'm a professional photographer. I
Okay.
specialize in high-end
And
products.
you do what kind of photography?
Mostly family, couples, individuals, what people call headshots, I call professional.
Okay.
It's, yeah.
So what you would want to do is research to find what are people searching to find your business. Are they looking for family pictures? Where can I get family photos in my area or near me? That would be a search term that you would target for your buyer's journey pages. So you have three stages. You have the awareness stage, the consideration stage, and the purchase stage.
Mhm.
The awareness stage is usually answering the question about the specific search that somebody did.
Ah,
And the consideration is a combination of here is more information. It's kind of like drilling down to explain a bit more so that the person is prepared. And then it goes on to the purchase stage. And if you back way up, you think, I don't know what awareness, consideration, and purchase stage means, the buyer's journey.
mhm.
When's the last time that you purchased something, Tom?
Oh, I do that about every day.
Okay.
And I search for it. Yes.
And do you go, when you decide this thing that I need, do you already know what it is, or you're going, I got to go figure out exactly what it is and what's a good one, what's a bad one, that kind of thing?
Yeah, to be fairness, I'm looking for something, I have to describe it. If I know it, I'll just put it in, of course, but you're in the track of what I do often. And I do read the questions and
And
I read the answers.
and so you're searching for something because you're trying to get information on it, basically, right?
Well, sometimes I don't even know what to search for. I just have to almost write it and hopefully I see a listing that matches. If
And that
not, I'll finish.
you're
Yeah.
that's perfect because that means that you are in the awareness stage of the buyer's journey.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you're trying to gather information. That's the awareness stage. You're trying
Mhm.
to understand what it is.
Yeah.
When they're considering, well, do I want this one or that one? Now, obviously, that's the consideration stage.
Yes.
So there
I
are
reach that often.
many things to consider. Once you've decided, okay, this is the thing that I'm looking for, now which one or which color or whatever. And that's when you're in the consideration stage. When you've made
Correct.
that decision, going, okay, I got enough information. I think I want this color or that thing or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Purchase stage. Purchase stage is the last one.
Mhm.
So my example is somebody is going to say, I have no idea what an SEO specialist. So the question would be, they typed into the search engine, what is an SEO specialist? Now, I
Mhm.
happen to be in Bellingham, so the page is localized because it's in Bellingham is in the page several times.
Yes.
So that way, and it's up there again, when you have that in there locally, it's easier to get to the top of the search engines.
Yeah.
If you don't type in a search term that includes your area, you're searching nationally.
Yeah.
So
Right.
and a lot of people do that. The traffic that you want to get immediately is local traffic. And the why is because you need traffic. You need
Mhm.
authority. in order to get anywhere close to being national. So forget national if you don't have authority in your website. And if you don't know if your site has authority, there's a good chance you probably don't have any authority.
Mhm.
So if you're not at the top of the search engines, most likely you don't have authority. You need to gain that. In order to gain it, you need pages that are popping up in local searches to start giving your website and the pages authority. So Google goes, oh, okay, I see people are going to these pages and they're staying on the page for a while. And there seems to be more and more people coming. You start getting authority, you start moving up in the search engines.
Mhm.
So with the buyer's journey pages, you're doing exactly that. You're answering questions, and you can have as many sets of buyer's journey pages as you want.
Mhm.
Ask questions or answer or provide information on several different subjects related to your business.
Mhm.
That's the buyer's journey. Did I go through that too fast for
No,
Lillian? Okay,
not for me. No.
Tom, you got that. How about Lillian? Did I go through that too fast? Hello, Lillian. Okay, how about Anastasia?
I think I got it. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. Where do you know about the buyer's journey pages?
I'm learning as you're speaking about it. I've had some general idea, but I definitely could improve my knowledge and implement.
So your site is about what? What's your business?
I'm a hypnotherapist, so
Okay. And Brian, did you need to share that? Brian, did you know that you're sharing?
No, I didn't know that. Let me,
At the top of your screen, just there you go. Stop sharing. There you go. Okay. So I just want to make sure as I'm touching base, Anastasia and Lillian, Brian, Tom, new people, making sure that you understand buyer's journey pages. So I want to just barely touch on a lot of the areas that we've been doing in the past. Today was specifically about how in the world do you get it into your website? Now, I came across something yesterday while I was working with Maury on some things. One of the things that I found was that it's not as easy with WordPress. And Robert, you might be able to answer this. Creating a, I'll share again so you have a better idea. Notice how here's my overall look of the website. So it's got the header and it's got the footer and it's got a lot of other bells and whistles on the page. In your buyer's journey pages, you want none of that. So it's all gone except for the basic look. And in the footer, I've just got the copyright. No links to anything. This link only goes to the next page of the 3 pages of the buyer's journey. The button goes to where my event page or action page is what we're calling it. What action do I want somebody to take? Well, I want them to purchase something having to do with SEO. That's what the page is all about. So when they go to the next page, they can still go to the buy page if they want. If they're not ready, they don't click on it. Or they can go to the next page, which is going to discuss more about the purchase of that product or service. And
Seems like you could
notice
just use a paragraph block.
sorry, what?
Seems like you just use a paragraph block with bold text and different text sizes. If you didn't want headings.
I'm thinking of the paragraph. So if you use a paragraph block, it eliminates the header, the footer, and all links except for the text from your buyer's journey page in WordPress.
Oh, so you're trying to get rid of the rest of the website, basically. Just have a,
Exactly. You can't have any of this,
oh,
any of this stuff. You can't have any links, none of this stuff over on the side, none of the stuff on the top, and none of the links in the footer of the page either. If you notice,
wow.
when I move forward to the buyer journey page, nothing in the footer. And nothing in the header. I can do that with Joomla because I can do it several different ways. But you can have multiple templates at the same time that you're using in Joomla. You can't do that in WordPress.
I haven't
So
seen it like that. No.
the part that I'm trying to help you with today is how do you get those into WordPress and remove? Now, my thought was to create a second child theme and assign that child theme to only your buyer's journey page. And of course, that second child theme that you create, you remove all the header and the menu and everything else. So Ellen, go ahead.
It depends on what builder you're using with WordPress. If you're just using WordPress and a theme, then yeah, you would probably have to do the child theme. I use Elementor on some pages. You can have multiple templates. So you could have a template that does not use
Yes, same thing.
your head doesn't use your header. Yeah, basically it's the same thing. It's just a different user interface.
And that's what I wasn't sure if Elementor was able to do that or any of the others. But yes, creating a child theme or using your page builder to create a library, because I know most of them do create some sort of a library and you can create different themes or portions.
Right.
So that's what you want to do is create a theme or however much of it. Using your page builder may have a different name for it. And for the new people, your developer is going to know this. They'll know whether you need to use this page builder and do that or whatever. But you just need to be clear. The pages need to be devoid of any possibility to get to the main pages of your website.
It seems like your headers would be a fundamental part of your SEO, your keywords.
Yes and no. Because your keywords and everything are still done in the page. And the header, the H1 tag is still right there. So the only thing that would be missing would be what's the tab say. That depends on your page builder. I can call this tab anything that I want. In Joomla, I can create in Elementor or anything else, if you create a menu item and then hide it, because
So you're talking about the header of the main page rather than the headings in the text itself.
well, the header does contain more things about SEO, but really what's in your header? Link to your business and your menu. Now I've got the search up there too.
Now, I see what you're talking about now. I thought you were talking about the headings within the text itself.
And
Again, with that.
are still there. Everything else of this page is still here as typical. It's not like it's been torn down, so it doesn't have any of this information.
Okay.
Down.
Yeah, I see what
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
What I've done is just stripped out any of the stuff that allows somebody to get to the home page, but your technical information is still in the page because it's part of the page. And you do all of your SEO on this page. And of course, your SEO today is basic. So you want to have your heading and your H1 tags, any of your others, as well as markup and bold text, that sort of thing. But you want to get rid of anything else that's allowing them to get to the rest of your site. And of course, when they click on the buy now, they're back in your normal part of the site. And that's the way it's supposed to work. You're here to take action. If you decide, well, yeah, but I'm not going to take action, maybe I'll go over to the forum, or maybe I'll just go over and ask a question, or so they can get around to your site 100%. But the idea behind the buyer's journey pages is you do not want them to do that unless they have gone through the 3 stages, or they've decided, well, I'm just ready to buy, because they can do that on any one of the stages in your buyer's journey. Now, I know I kind of clicked through that quick, so any questions on that so far? Okay. Everybody's got it down. They know exactly how to do it now, right? So I got a question for you, Arthur. Are you with us? Maybe not. Probably on the phone. Okay.
I'm having trouble with
Oh,
my, I can't hardly hear anything. I don't know what's going on.
oh, okay. Sorry. I won't call on you. Um, I know this is a struggle for some people, and I didn't do it in WordPress for a good reason. I ran out of time, so I was just trying to hurry and show, at least in Joomla, it's fairly simple. WordPress is going to be a little bit more, but I'm betting that most of you use your developer for whatever stuff that you need to do. So just tell your developer, get rid of all the stuff in the top. I don't care how you do it. JB, does that make sense? Okay. Lillian, you with us?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't realize the first time that I was muted.
Oh.
My my question is, this is excuse me, this is the first time I'm coming, and I had in mind, like, I thought I was gonna learn about CEO optimization.
Mhm.
Is that something you teach as well?
And you are. In fact, that's what I was saying in the beginning, is that Google has made big changes. And even though SEO is still important, the most important thing for you to learn now for your website in ahead of SEO is learning to get the buyer's journey pages into your website so that they can work their way up into the local searches. That's kind of a mouthful, but did that make sense to you, Lillian?
Yes.
So in today's websites, you want to learn how to make good buyer's journey pages and get them into your site. Google's looking for those pages over quality SEO. There's a big reason behind that. A lot of it has to do with just trying to push out the sites that we all find in the search results that don't give us what we're looking for, but they say they are going to. Google wants to get rid of that. So the buyer's journey pages are, if somebody's searching this, then your buyer's journey page is coming up. And they find that buyer journey page, they come to it, they are in your site, but they're just learning. So they might find the consideration stage. It depends. They could come in from the awareness page, or they could come in on the consideration page. If they do, then they've got this page that they would get to. Now they can't go back and read the awareness because that's silly. Why would you push somebody to go back or allow somebody to return to the stage they're not in? The stage they are in is what you're trying to target. Does that make sense, Lillian?
Yes.
So just let them go to that stage, then the next stage, and the next stage. From that third stage, they can go directly to the action page, whatever action you want them to take, and they can also get to the other pages of your site. And JB, you had your hand up.
Yes. I'm sorry I missed the first 20 minutes. It's those stinking clients. They always get in the way, don't they? Yeah.
Um,
So my question is, when you go back to the stages, I see in the URL it says, like this is the consideration page.
mhm.
And I think, do you actually label it? Would you label it like that? Is that part of the whole program of having that label?
First of all, in the tab, um, you don't necessarily have to.
Okay.
I did because I'm saying I want everybody to understand we're in the awareness, then the consideration, and then the purchase
Okay.
stage, but you don't have to. Everything needs to be related, just like when you're applying SEO.
Hmm.
You want everything to be relevant to anything. So the tab, just like you would on any other page of your website. The main thing that you're trying to do is not allow any of the other information, the menus, the logos, the search, the extra links on the side, the footer information. You don't want people to get to any other page. So
Okay.
you have a stripped down page. And I
Okay.
can go back, and here's the awareness stage. And as I said, even though I don't have it done here, I can go in 10 seconds and turn off the link to this page, because you don't want it as I've got it here. That's a link, that's a menu link that does appear.
Right.
If this was in production, that would be turned off so nobody can get to that.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know.
Okay. Now in WordPress, Sue Ellen, go ahead. You had your hand up.
I just wanted to know if you put it in a subdomain, if that would counteract the search engine, the Google search.
Good question. Let me think about that for a second.
If you could do that, then you could have a different installation of WordPress or anything and have those pages totally separate from the site.
No, I agree. I
For a-
get where you're going. I'm trying to think of, usually that's a very convoluted question,
Okay, well,
because it's a matter of how is Google interpreting that subdomain. Is Google thinking of it as an additional site?
right, that's that, yeah.
And-
I'll think about that and maybe test it.
Well, I think, as I'm thinking, Maury, you should be able to chime in on this too, because it seems to me that with all the other things that we've talked about, Maury, it wouldn't make any difference if it was in a subdomain. Isn't that true?
Well, it's just going to double your SEO workload because Google treats subdomains just like a brand new domain.
See, that's what I was thinking too, but I was going, well, if the links are in there and in another domain, if you did, I'm going to use the term and hopefully nobody has a clue what I'm talking about, the rank and rent, you're not on that domain, but it'd still work. And a subdomain is part of that site, even though it can be a completely different site. So wouldn't it still work?
Well, if you're speaking in terms of rank and rent, it's because with the main domain, you may exceed the volume of pages and resources a website has. If you at 200 pages, you're starting to stress a WordPress shared hosting pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe when you go to a subdomain is so that you can try and divide out your resources a little better. But no, I wouldn't go to a subdomain unless my page count got so high that I felt the need to.
Okay, so I want to go back then. Arthur, are you in a position to chat yet or no?
By the way, Thomas, there's a plugin called Yellow Pencil something for WordPress that will automatically, it lets even the average person turn CSS on and off to hide headers and footers on separate pages. You search for Yellow Pencil WordPress, you'll find it. It's a plugin. It's to make it managing CSS ADA proof.
Well, I found on my number 2 pencils. Visual CSS editor.
Yeah,
Well,
that's designed to make managing CSS kind of foolproof for dummy, people like me that are not programmers.
the problem is that let me think for a second. Just go to a WordPress site. The reason I'm hesitating is because if you go to like say well, pretty much anything. I'm just going to inspect a spot. And your CSS is going to target a class tag. Not that everybody needs to understand this, but you can kind of just go along and follow me for a second and just think in general. These are class tags. And when you target a spot to make changes with your Cascade style sheet, CSS, you need to target a class tag. Now, if it's a generic class tag that's part of the system, then if you target that thing, you're going to change them throughout the website. So it has to be a class tag that's only on the buyer's journey pages.
And there's a bunch of themes that actually have the ability to turn headers and footers off on pages. I was looking into them.
It does do that. Well,
there's some, like, you can get a theme that does that. So if you're building that way, then you might want to make sure you get a theme that allows that ability.
Yeah, that's where I kind of came in, because I was thinking, I don't know of a theme itself that allows per page to turn it off or on.
Oh, there's quite a few of them out there. If you do a search in Google, it'll tell you there's.
Per page?
Yes.
Okay. JB, did you have an answer to that? Oh, okay.
I don't have an answer. I've got a separate question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so now I don't build websites. I always get somebody else to do that, but I do I do have input on it. So let's say I'm having someone build me a website and we're going to put the 3 stages in there for a client, or even for myself, by the way. So how do I word this? How neighborhood centric, how far down would you want to go so that you could capture a local market? For example, and I don't know, if other cities are really like this way, but St. Louis area is very neighborhood centric. Okay. So you can have, Lafayette Square. You could have back out to St. Louis County. You could have Clayton, Missouri. You can have, without looking at it, there's probably over 100 different neighborhoods that are, that centric. So would you want to build that out for each neighborhood, or would, St. Louis take care of that?
You can, but you're going to opposite ends. You're going from one extreme to the other. If you're saying either by community or neighborhood and then state. So there's a lot in between.
Okay.
If it were me, I don't know that I would go to a specific community, because how many people in that community are searching for your business? So you may need to spread it out, going to a city.
Right. And let me back up a little bit. When I say neighborhood, they are cities. A lot of them have been absorbed, not in St. Louis City, but what they call St. Louis County. And St. Louis County has multiple municipalities within it, that still hold on to their city, like Brentwood. Brentwood is a city in St. Louis County. It's the police department, the management of it all falls under St. Louis County, but it's its own city.
How big is it? What's the population of that city?
That's a great question. If you're looking at B2B, it's a lot of businesses there. If you're looking at consumer level, then let's see.
Generally, if you're looking at 100,000 people in a city,
Mhm.
okay, target that city. But if you're looking at 5,000 people in an area, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
that's pretty limited to the number of people. Everything
Okay.
to do with your
Yeah,
traffic
because
matter.
there's about there's only about 7 or 8,000 consumers within,
Yeah.
residential.
So I would
within
open that up. And that really depends on your business. What do you sell? Do you need
Right.
high volume of people, whether it's business or consumers, to sell your product or service?
Well, I could see someone like real estate. Real estate, if you're searching within the Brentwood area, for real estate or looking to sell your home, I could see that connecting.
Maury?
Yeah, absolutely. Real estate, a good real estate agents will farm. So they choose a neighborhood and become the neighborhood expert. And they look
Right.
for neighborhoods that are large enough that have enough turnover. And then they go in there and try and dominate it. So what he's asking, absolutely. Like I used to live in Calgary. I still live close to it.
Mhm.
They have 1.5 million people now, but there's probably more than 60 neighborhoods now because they've annexed all these little towns into one big city.
Mhm.
So all these little neighborhoods still operate as if they were little towns, and people tend to live and shop within their neighborhood. So I completely agree. If the neighborhoods are large enough, I would break it down to neighborhoods. At 8,000, that's probably not worth dividing it any smaller. But
Right.
at say 20,000, that's probably a good cutoff point. Like if you look at Calgary and you divide 1.5 million into 60 neighborhoods, then you have a pretty good sized population per neighborhood that's going to be shopping locally, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I do that.
So then I would look at, if I was looking at, and I may be using old terms here because
Yeah.
I'm ancient, but I look at MSAs, metropolitan statistical areas.
Yes.
So then, like for me, you've got St. Louis City would be one, but you also have St. Louis County. Now St. Louis County incorporates a bunch of little small municipalities.
Mhm.
Going out further, you've got St. Charles and Chesterfield, which are very large populations, very high end type stuff. Especially if you're doing B2C. So I would see breaking it down like that. So, okay. So within the MSA, you could look at MSAs and decide whether it's worth it to pursue it there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
I would
That
just
makes
do it
sense.
based on population. As long as the population of that neighborhood's big enough, then it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
If
Right.
it gets too small, then you're just creating a lot of work for yourself for probably little gain if it's too small.
Right, right. Just like I dealt with a chiropractor once, and chiropractors are maximum of 5 miles radius, and
Precisely.
there's no point because no one wants to drive more than that to get to their chiropractor. Right?
Exactly.
So you have to kind of narrow it down by that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no
Okay.
there's no
There's something
definitive
else
term for
that
everybody.
you guys need to take into account. There's software out there that helps non-local companies fake that they are actually local. And I've tested it myself. It's happening, for example, in my area, Northern California, from a company located in India. And there's not much we can do about it. You can report it to Google. But I actually had one of those people who has developed this software present to me last year to show me how they can do it. And it's fairly simple. They just churn out all these pages on demand. So, just an FYI that you might have to contend with somebody like that having a higher result than yours.
So this is software that's actually making your website look as if it's local.
No, it's producing pages that act like it's local, but then they redirect to your site. I just tested the India page that's showing up as doing SEO in Mendocino, which it doesn't, and it redirects.
So they're just pages that have a redirect in them.
Yeah, but they appear as a top result on in Google when you do an anonymous search.
And I'm thinking about, okay, so it's doing a redirect, redirecting to where?
To their site, to their actual pages. But when I'm looking at the link, it's showing that it's a link. They put in the link Mendocino SEO expert.
Mm-hmm.
So you could test it. I haven't tested it for Bellingham. I could test it now to see if it's showing up. I did, so I used your term, what is an SEO specialist?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do it now. And I'm using Google, but on Safari to try to not have Google personalize me.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, they do that even with incognito.
But Thomas, isn't that kind of what we all do? I mean, this is an extreme example, but don't we all try to reach a little bit farther out of our home base? Like myself, I'm based in Fremont, county is Alameda, but the next county over is only 2 or 3 miles away, maybe even less at some points. Why can't I do business in that county as well?
I'm going over all the scenarios in my head because I know that there are businesses in other countries that are spoofing to say they're actually here. And in my mind, and feel free anybody to jump in, because in my mind, I can be anywhere. I can put up a page that says I am in anywhere in the world.
Right.
Well, you're not really saying that you're in any city. You're willing to do work in any city.
Right. As a digital online business that has no bricks and mortar location, you're willing to work anywhere. And you can, because there's nothing stopping you from working somewhere if you're completely an online business. It'd be different if you're a plumber and a truck full of tools.
Mhm.
What's the point of a plumber in Atlanta advertising in Florida? He's not going to drive that far. Besides, there's 8,700 other plumbers in between him and Florida.
But so I could literally make pages and optimize them for Japan.
Yeah, that's what local search is all
Website.
about. All these digital companies do that. That's been going on for years.
Right.
I
So
do it.
I think that even software that's going to do it for you, like, I don't know why anybody would pay for that, because you just create your page and everything about that page says a city in Japan. And you don't have to have anything. You're not doing anything specific. You're not needing to redirect. You're just making a page that pops up in that particular city.
As long as you're not saying I live here and saying I service this area, you're not lying. If you say you live there and you don't, then you're lying.
Right, but I'm looking at a result where they're lying. They're saying that they're a leading SEO agency in Mendocino.
Well, then that's...
And so I'm interested. Yeah, I'm looking at it and it doesn't exist. As soon as I click on the link, it takes me to their root URL.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not see that in Bellingham. So I'm surprised they put Mendocino in their software and not Bellingham. Bellingham is definitely bigger than Mendocino.
If they're saying they're living there, in my mind, that's dishonest.
We're about 100,000
right
in Bellingham, and I would think that Mendocino, in addition to its own area, has a lot of population right next door. Bellingham doesn't.
No,
people
no, there are a thousand. There are 1,000 people in Mendocino and about 5,000 in the biggest city that's a few miles north of me.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole Mendocino County area is probably what, 10,000 maximum. No, it's ridiculous.
People from outside of the U.S. have been told, they're under the impression that certain areas are a lot more populated and a lot more popular than maybe what we think. But that they're just going on that. And Arthur and I have kind of run those things down before too. People from other countries are saying that they are doing business in Seattle. and we can confirm that that business is actually in some third world country.
Okay, Tom, so I have a question regarding that. Because I'm in the city of West Orange, and West Orange is in the county of Essex. So I was wondering whether it would be more advantageous to do a page for every city in Essex County, or just do a page for Essex County.
I would start with Essex County.
Okay.
Because you know that if somebody searches for blah blah in this city, which is part of Essex County, if the page is done well, it's going to pop up in that search.
Okay. All right. So just do Essex County.
Yeah. I do that to start and see how it goes. When you're doing local and targeting local SEO, local searches, you're going to come up in anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks instead of 6 months to a year when you're trying to do national, because it's just not going to happen. That's why I keep pushing. Just stick with targeting local.
I'm definitely doing local. I just wanted to find out how local I should go.
If after 3 or 4 weeks you don't see any results, you can look for that page. If you're 2 or 3 pages back in the search results, that's not bad. Now you just need to manipulate that thing to get it shoved into the page 1. But if it's nowhere in the top 100, then there's something wrong with the page.
Almost, that's where a little keyword search comes in handy too, because are people typing their search in / that neighborhood, that city, that county, that state?
Yeah.
How you have to find out what volume people are searching for that, including the words you want to rank for.
Right. Everything boils down to, no matter what we're talking about, everything boils down to, you have to do the research on the keyword term first. Find out what people are literally searching in the areas where you do business.
Got it.
AI can help a lot in that. That was part of what we were playing with yesterday. Any other questions on that part so far? We brought a lot into this meeting, but I really just wanted to concentrate on how do you get your pages into your website so that you are not using a menu item and it just looks like this, blah, blah. You can put bells and whistles on the page. You can do whatever you want. I didn't. I was in a hurry and I just wanted to throw them in saying, you have to do at least this much. And wasn't even really concerned that much about the text. So if you guys are reading it, going, well, it's awfully technical. Yep, it's going away. I'm going to give it to Kevin.
I don't want your measly scraps.
Did I?
Leftovers, Nah, I want fresh dinner.
Did I answer your question that you had a while ago, Kevin?
What question was that? I didn't ask a question. Go back to the replay.
Yeah, instant replay of 5 minutes ago.
There you go. Memorex.
Zoom, please replay what you're recording.
Hey, AI, that's probably coming one day here soon with AI.
Yeah. You watch. Okay, so other questions, because I know there's some new people probably trying to figure out what in the world is this group doing? We all kind of go along into the next step. So when we have somebody that's really new, I want to make sure that I bring you in. I want you to come back to the meetings. So if there's something that you don't understand, please ask questions or return to our next meeting. Although I will say next week is networking only. So.
Oh, okay, Tom, I got a question about pages. We have some ClickFunnels pages. Could we use that in the buyer's journey pages?
You had some what?
ClickFunnels. You familiar with ClickFunnels? We have some pages that we designed for ClickFunnels.
ClickPuzzle?
ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels. It's a funnel builder.
ClickFunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your question? ClickFunnel?
Can I use the ClickFunnels pages for buyer's journey pages?
I would say no. It really, let me back that up. What's the competition for the term that you're using?
You mean what's
How much competition is there for the buyer's journey pages you're considering
how much competition is there?
for the search term?
I don't know. Where would I look that up?
Go search the specific term in Google and you'll see how many pages there are. If it's under 1 million, there's not much competition.
Wow. Okay.
And
All right.
that's why you know, you're talking about building a funnel, but as Maury would say, if you've got a lot of competition, that's when you need to get serious with a lot more of the buyer's journey. But if there's virtually no competition, one set of buyer's journey pages should be enough, maybe two.
Well, Thomas, there's one instance where I would use it is if you're treating your top of your funnel as the beginning of your buyer, where the person's made the decision to buy, because then they might be entering your funnel to buy a $5 tripwire, and then you're going to upsell them to a $50 product, and then you might upsell them to a $5,000 consulting program, right? So if they've been through the two first stages of the buyer's journey and they're now at the decision stage, the beginning of your funnel could be the start of the decision stage.
I got you. Okay.
Because now they've made a decision to buy. Now it's just a matter of, like, most people are building funnels because they usually have upsells and downsells, and they're trying to funnel people through to sell them bigger and more as it goes, which means they've already made the decision to buy, and you're just trying to now herd them to buy more and more expensive and bigger stuff.
Yeah.
That's what funnel builders are really designed for. They're designed for that last layer of the buyer's journey.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Because that is exactly what it does. What we're designing it to do. That makes sense.
So if you're connecting it to buyer's journey and you're using it as your action page, as we've been calling it, then yes, you can bolt it on to the website in that way. I would. That's how I do it.
Oh, excellent. Thanks.
Kevin, you had your hand up again.
Yeah, what's the when you're doing, you know, the word search in Google, what's the lowest amount of results that you should use? Because I've got some search terms which are only 0 to 10 in my local area.
It really depends on I'd start going wider to see if you got any more, but 0 to 10 means there's probably 4 or 5 people that are searching that term. So if you're targeting 4 different areas times 5, so there's 20 people that you've targeted in a month or a day, or however many people searching. Well, I guess that's 0 to 10 in a month, so be 20 people a month. If you had 20 people a month that were already pre-qualified, meaning they clicked on your page because the term that they searched and they got to your site, I'd say they're interested in your business. And if they're on a buyer's journey and they're going to follow through, they should be calling. So if you had 20 people doing that a month, I think you'd have a pretty good business. And a lot of people are going, that's no big deal. You think about it. What are you selling? How many sales do you need per month? So if you got 10 people a month that purchased your packages, I wouldn't it be true that if you sold 3, that's a pretty decent month for you?
Or an additional 3 even, right? I mean,
if you sold 3, Kevin?
Yeah, 3 would work for me.
Okay, so we're talking 20. 20 people are possibly going to get in touch. Maybe it's only 10, but you only need 3 to close.
Right.
So it's a numbers game, but it's different for everybody because your business might need 100 people to survive for a month. Somebody else will need 3.
So to broaden that question and expand on the answer a little bit is, in my mind, if those 10 people were in the 97% that aren't ready to buy, that's a pretty low return on investment. If those 10 people were at the buyer stage where they're actually just looking at, in your case, Kevin, VoIP vendors and who to buy from, and they're at the point of just deciding who to buy from, then it's worth those 10 because they've made the decision to buy. Your job now is just to persuade them that you're the right customer, right vendor to buy from.
Well,
Then
I
those 10 people are fully qualified, right?
yes,
So then, yes, in that case, I would say, hell yeah, 10's plenty if they're at the buyer's stage, right?
correct.
If they're at the awareness stage, that's a pretty low volume. They're you're going to be a long time before they get around to buying from you.
Yeah, but if they're looking in my area,
Mhm.
then my competition, if they're looking at me, that means they're probably not looking at the top 5 big guns because they're tired of the high prices with those individuals.
Or it could be the top 10 guns have not created any awareness stage pages and they only have buyer pages, so they're not finding what they're looking for on the top 10 competitors.
This is true too.
Right. But the other thing I tell Thomas hears me talk about 100, 200, 300 pages all the time. And the benefit to that is that if you have 300 pages and each one set up for 1 or 2 keywords of even only 10 or 20 searches per volume for the keywords, but times 20 times 300, now you're talking some serious traffic, and that's traffic nobody else is going after. So you're going to own that traffic, as hardly anybody's going to chase 10 or 20 people. So if you do, but you chase it in 300 different terms, that's a huge volume of traffic.
True.
So it's
Thanks, Maury. Glad you
think
always,
that through. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm always glad you attend these meetings.
Well, I hope that didn't confuse you more. That's how I
No.
think and how I do things.
No, the message was received.
Okay.
I have 2 things left. One is, can I get Susie to come on? I'm not sure what your question.
Uh,
Are you saying that you wanted to find out if you should?
no, as a hardcore engineer, what I did is a reverse engineer. And first of all, I'm taking some from my web blog posting and feed it back to the bar and say, hey, evaluate this and see their recommendation for a buyer's journeys, percentage, or, how does it work? And I got a pretty good report. And then I was thinking about what you said. I need to disassociate my buyer's, journey, page from my website. So I asked Bart and say, how would they recommend? Google recommended to utilize or implement, buyer's journeys pages, and specifically should it have, associate with my website or not? I think in a summary it says fine, just have a multiple, touch point. It works the same. So I'm not too sure that I will work hard to disassociate my buyer's journey pages from my website. That, maybe an easy way out. I don't know.
Well, I think what you're saying is that you asked Bard and it came back with saying it's not, you shouldn't consider the buyer's journey as a focus point for your website, or you shouldn't have the website as the focus point. And that's where I'm confused. I'm going, wait a minute. That's going against exactly what Google has said. Here's our new algorithm, EEAT. It's all about the buyer's journey pages. They need to be in your website. So now you're saying that the way that you asked it was saying don't make the buyer's journey part of your website?
No, it says integrate the website with the other touch points. and ensure a seamless experience across the channel, providing consistent messaging and the content relevant to buyer's journey stage.
Well, that all makes sense because you're making sure that the buyer's journey is highly relevant to your website. That should be number one. That's why you're looking at the search terms that people are searching. So whatever buyer's journey pages that you're creating are highly relevant to that search term, which is highly relevant to your site.
So Thomas,
So-
I'm going to use an analogy to try and help. Okay, we think let's use
Okay.
a cattle and a rancher, and the cattle goes and the rancher goes into branding season, right? So he rounds all his cattle up into a pen, and then he closes the gate. And the only place the cattle have to go because he wants to brand them is to a chute, right?
Mhm.
So with the buyer's journey pages, the reason you want to remove the header and footer because your chute is the anchor text that's linking your awareness page to the next stage in your journey. You're not disassociating it from your website. You're disassociating it from your header and footer so that the people can only go the direction you're trying to herd them. Because you're trying to herd them up through your buyer's journey. It's like a funnel. But instead of a buyer's funnel page, it's an actual awareness page, and you're taking them through the stages, right? Like
Right.
Thomas, by putting the buy button, you've created an exit. You've left an open gate for them. That's why when I write it, I always put a very subtle, buy button, not something so bold, but something that says, well, if you've made the decision, you can always go here to buy. But if you haven't, here's how to get to the next part of the, if you're at the decision stage where you're trying to figure out which model to buy, click here and I'll take you to the page and show you all the different models that are available.
Could even just be a text link that's the same
Yeah.
size as this, or instead
Yeah.
of big buy button. And
It
of
doesn't have
course,
to be
like
that. It just has to
I
be
agree.
more subdued, right? That's pretty bold,
Yeah.
right? It's in your face, right?
Yep.
So the idea is to herd them, right? Where you want them to go.
Mhm.
If you have a menu and if they go, oh yeah, I think I got enough information, they're just going to go click on your menu and go hopping somewhere else. You want to keep people focused on one thing. So if there's only one action they can take, that's the action they're going to take, right? The goal is just to give them one choice, which is to do what you want them to do. And the only other action, of course, is if they're unhappy and they don't like what they're seeing, they're going to leave. But that action's available to anybody on any website.
Right.
And if they're leaving, you have a bigger problem.
That said,
Shouldn't the buyer's journey web page actually have the two options depending on what stage they're at and what page they landed? If they're in the awareness stage and they land on the awareness page, if the awareness page information isn't enough to sell them on what you're selling,
right,
then go to the next step, consideration, or buy. So it's okay. So it's always let's call it three options.
Yeah.
Go to the next page, buy now, or get the heck off my site.
Right. And that's the anchor text that takes you to the next stage. And all I'm saying is the buy now button here is probably a little bit too bold. I would tone it down so that it's there in case someone's made that decision, but I don't want them to feel pressure.
Right.
If I'm not ready to buy, I don't want them to feel pressure that they have to buy.
Okay.
I don't want them to feel that pressure till they're ready to buy.
I won't hold the rest of you up. That's all I have for today. We're just having a good humor day. But I thought it's a good way to end. I like to end with a laugh. So I'll see you guys. If you're not coming for the networking next week, it'll be 2 weeks that we'll do the next phase of buyer's journey. So see you. Have fun. Thanks, Susie. See you in 2 weeks.